All right, so let's get going, and the first thing we're going to do is get Node.js installed on our Windows machines. If you are a Mac or a Linux user, you can skip on ahead to one of the other parts of this live lesson and figure out how to do it on that platform, or you can just follow along with this one if you're curious to see how the other side lives. The first thing I'm going to do here is go to my Windows machine, and you'll see here I've got Windows 7. If you're running Windows XP, Windows 8, or if you're actually one of the people who still uses Windows Vista, this will all work just fine. As long as you've got one of the sort of new modern Windows operating systems, you'll have no trouble whatsoever. I'm going to go to nodejs.org here in my browser, and if you're not really sure about what node you want, you can just click on install and it should pick the correct installer you want and give you that one. Or if you want a bit more choice or learn a little bit more about what's going on, you can come here to the downloads page and see your options there. You can go here to Windows Installer and pick 32 or 64-bit depending on your platform. Again, if you're not sure, just choose the default, it'll pick it for you, and then you can download and save that. I've already downloaded and saved 0.10.3 here to my desktop, so we can get going with that. By the time you view these live lessons and are ready to install Node, 0.10.3 will almost certainly no longer be the current version. Don't worry about that whatsoever. The Node team tends to run on very short development cycles, and you'll find that the even-numbered builds, 0.6, 0.8, 0.10, and 0.12, are the stable releases, and then the odd-numbered ones, the 0.9s, 0.11s, and stuff, these are the sort of the development branches where they're actually making a lot of changes to the code and everything like that. So if you stick to the even-numbered builds, you'll be with the most stable and sort of runnable builds of Node.js. And in terms of compatibility between them, throughout these live lessons, we'll be giving you ideas and strategies and sort of information on how to maximize the compatibility between these. The good news is Node is stabilizing rapidly, so the number of breaking changes between all of the new builds should be pretty minimal. So let's go ahead and run our installer here, and we'll just choose all the default locations. Everything's great. We just want to get it installed and running. Now we've got it installed, we kind of need to figure out how to use it. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to the Run menu here, which is, if you go here, I can run programs here. I can just say run commands.exe, or if you're actually familiar with it, I think Windows Vista and Windows 7 introduced something new called Windows PowerShell. Everything I show here will work on PowerShell as well, but you don't actually need it, and Windows Vista users didn't have it. So you can just use command.exe here. If you're not familiar with command line workings and stuff, I do recommend spending some time learning how to work with it. It's pretty useful. I find it a very fast shortcut and a great way to do things. So, for example, I can make a directory called Node Live Lessons, and then I can cd Node Live Lessons to go into that folder. I can clear the screen. I can get a directory listing of the contents. And there is actually another really cool feature here in the command prompt, which is I can say I want to change into Node Live, and I can just partially type it and hit tab, and then it'll complete that for me, and then I can go in there and sort of again see the contents of my directory and everything. So how do we test to see that our Node.js installed properly without any without trouble or something? I just type node, and well, okay, that worked. So I can also say, oops, we'll quit, and I want to say node-version, and you'll see version 0.10.3, which is exactly what we wanted. There's another program I want you to verify that got installed, and this is something called npm, which is the Node Package Manager, which we'll talk about in a later lesson, but let's go ahead and make sure that that was installed properly. Now, let's go here to this window, and let's see what happens if I type node. If you get this error, node is not recognized as an internal/external command, I want you to go ahead and check your path variable. So you just type path, and you'll see here in this window, I've actually kind of screwed with the path to make sure that it's sort of broken and not working. So here you'll see the path is quite simple, whereas if I go to the other window and type path, you'll see it has a lot of stuff in it. And in particular, what I am looking for here is this C users mark app data roaming npm, and I'm also looking for C program files Node.js. If you don't see those two things in your path, then we need to go ahead and add those. And the way we'll do that is by firing up the control panel. I'll go to the top right here and I'll say search for system. And now the very first thing is what we want, which is edit the system environment variable. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to say environment variables here, and under user variables for Mark, if you click edit, you'll see that the npm folder is here in that. If this is not, go ahead and add that now. And similarly here, if I look under system variables, there's a path here, and if I edit that, I should see the node is in there somewhere. There it is. You'll see C program files Node.js. Again, if you don't see it in that, go ahead and add that now. Click OK, click OK. And now, for example, you'll see my path is still bad. What I need to do is exit this and run a new command. And now you'll see my path is fixed up, and I will be able to run Node or Node-version and verify that everything is working just great. Okay, so there's one more program that I would like you to install now, and it's something we're going to need to test out some of our Node programs and get other programs, and that is called curl. And the way we're going to get that was we're going to go to the website curl.hacks.se. We're going to go to the download page here, and then we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom and look for the Windows downloads. Now, I want the Windows binaries with SSL and SSH support. SSL is actually the most important, but if it has SSH, that's great too. So first I'm going to go to the 729, which is the most recent version, and then I'm going to say I want to download with the support SSL. I'll then download that and then run the installer for that and everything, put the curl stuff in an appropriate location, and now you should see, I actually put it here in my user directory, so you'll see here I have this curl.exe here, so I should always be able to type /users mark curl, and I'll always be able to run that program. So get that curl program downloaded and installed, put it somewhere on your path or put it in your home directory so you can use that later on, and you'll be set up and good to go with Windows.